knowing about the history of Pearl Harbor, was there anything significant about like
Uh,
just being there?
oh yeah, there's this one spot on the pier. There's a submarine that was actually sunk right there in the harbor. And it's just kind of it was different looking at that spot because it for one showed you how deep the harbor itself is because you couldn't see the submarine from where you're standing on the pier, but you also knew it was down there, and that was a piece of like very old history, like back in the 40s when they were bombed, and you could see all these old buildings that were there from when that had happened, and like you just saw the evidence of it everywhere. There were like skeleton ships washed up on the shore and everything.
Wow.
Like it was like looking at a ghost town. You know what I'm saying?
My next question, when did you decide it was time to leave the Navy?
My contract was coming up, and I just decided I didn't want to do the Navy anymore. I was just like, I'm tired of being here. I want to go home. Like I wanted so like I don't know. I just wanted to do something different. Like I wanted to go to school and I wanted to get a career because I knew I didn't want to be in the Navy forever. Like I thought I did when I first came in, but once I actually got to see what it was like, I was like, no, I'm just gonna finish my tour and get out.
Do you think they were very helpful in you, readjusting back to society, like after doing your service?
Oh yeah, they have classes that you take on the way out, and they actually like they tell you how to do interviews, write resumes, how to interact with the civilians again because like it's a different type of social interaction with
Mm,
people in the military here because with people in the military, especially guys that you're on par with, you just say whatever comes to mind and it's just kind of that's just how you talk to people. But here you can't do that, especially not somebody that's trying to hire you. So
do you feel like a person who didn't go through the program, do you feel like maybe they would be misunderstood?
they probably would, but I feel like they would get adjusted fairly decently depending on what they did and how long they were in.
Okay.
It's just it takes a good bit of compassion from both sides and understanding, and it's just like with any like some sort of a relationship with anybody. It's just it takes a little bit. It takes open communication with both of them instead of just silently taking it to until you just can't anymore. You know.
Any more highlights from your Navy experience? Anything that I don't know, anything that was like just really sticks with you today? Really, it was really significant.
Well, I mean, I certainly enjoyed seeing other countries and having that otherworldly experience in other cultures was interesting because like I don't think a lot of people get to experience that. It's like you go to Japan or Singapore. Like if you go to Singapore and you spit on the ground, you'll get beat with a cane for doing
Oh
that.
wow.
That's what they do for punishment there. They don't write you tickets; they beat you. And it's just so crazy because like here in America, like no matter where you are, you got to spit. You just spit, right? And we're just that's just how we do things. And over there, they're all like, no, this is a clean city. Like Japan, like you know, they are very xenophobic over there. So if you're walking around, and I'm sure absolutely like the people in the military being over there hasn't given us a very good light, especially going out getting drunk, being from America. We're just loud. And they're all like, no, we don't want you coming into this establishment because that's not how we act here. Because like you'll actually have people standing outside, and once they see a group of sailors coming up, they'll just be like, nope, go somewhere else.
Wow.
Um,
Do you think that um, as Americans we have a lot of misconceptions about the military? That the military.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, and a lot of it comes down to just like ignorance. Not saying that in a bad way. It's just if you don't know something, you don't know something.
Mm,
Like you can't be expected to know everything about everything. It's just and in addition to like what we're portrayed like on TV, in the news especially because like who makes the news? The really loud, the guys that get in trouble and stuff like that. Rarely do you get to see like the small actions of what we do good because that's just what we're expected to do. It takes kind of a bit like an above and beyond type attitude to make news like that.
We're gonna shift gears a little bit. So you were in the military, and so you going to college, was that a shift towards you wanted to? Um, what made you want to go to college?
Well, it being paid for was definitely a big driving factor because we sign up for something, it's called the GI Bill, and what they do is they pay for 36 months of your college. So, in addition to being paid for it being paid for, you're also getting paid while going. So I was like, hey, there's an extra paycheck right there as well. So let me hop on that.
But what did college have that the military did? Like, what
Well,
did it
I mean,
present to you?
of course, there's always that degree. You know, your military experience will get your foot in the door in a lot of places, but if you don't have any kind of marketable skills or degree, like any kind of document attached to you, then it's not going to get you very far. Like, you know, a lot of places like retail, they'll be quick to snatch you up. Like, hey, like, we support the military. Come work with us. We'll give you a place to work. And I'm grateful for that. But it's like, I put in too much work into so many different other areas that I'm not wanting to push product onto a shelf. You know, like, I've worked on sub-safe level quality assurance and maintenance and stuff like that, and I was like, I'm really good at this and I love doing this and I want to do it even more.
Wow. Um, so you get out of the military, like, what does it feel like to be a civilian after you serve so long?
I mean, it's it's different. I mean, it's like, I mean, you were a civilian before you went to the military, but I mean, it's like not only do you have this new experience coming in back into this world that you were in, but not only that, your world moved on without you. Like, it didn't stop while you're there. Like, when I first went in, my youngest brother was like this tall, right? And now this dude's towering over me. And I'm like, what happened to my little Jacob, you know?
Um, that is something. Um, when did you return to college? Like, when did you know?
I pretty much signed up for the next semester almost as soon as I came back. Because I
Oh,
had come
okay.
back in November of 2017, and I was like, well, they're already in the middle of this semester, so let me just sign up for the next one. So started college January and just kept on going from there.
Wow. So, and in the beginning, like, did you see the military as being a life, like something you could do for the rest of your life? And did it change, or?
That's definitely what I went in with, was this idea that that was something I would just do for the rest of my life because I had no idea what I wanted to do after that. So I was like, hey, this is a nice little security blanket I could do for just the rest of my life and just stay in here. But then, like, the more I saw it and the more I saw what people who had been in for so long looked like, and I was all like, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm glad that they're willing to do this and they're willing to keep the military going in that way with their experience and everything, but I just couldn't see myself doing that. So, actually, I'm getting a business degree, or working on getting a business degree right now, and that's just more of what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to have my own brick and mortar building, have my own desk, and just be able to run things.
Um, did the military sort of give you some inside, like, business skills,
A little
or?
bit. There was a few seminars here and there that I attended while I was in, but as far as like having, like, I can't walk up to somebody and be like, hey, I want to be a businessman now because I took a few seminars back in the military. Like, no, that's not gonna work. Like, you get a little bit of insight into what it's like, but it's a it's about like me showing you a video on how to be a nuclear engineer or something like that. It's like, yeah, like, you know, you got an idea maybe, but not enough to do anything with it.
So it's your first day back. I mean, you know, in college. Usually it's hard for some, hard for others. How was it for you, like adjusting to being in college?
It was a little bit more structured. I mean, you're just kind of doing the same thing every single day. Whereas, like in the military, you might not be doing the same thing every day. You know, it's like one. I mean, you'll always show up to work at the same time, but you might not leave at the same time. You know, it's like one day I'd leave at noon, another day I'd leave at 3, and sometimes I wouldn't leave until midnight. But um, I don't know. It just felt like going to high school again. It was just kind of easy, just kind of slip back into it. And there are some things about it that's a little bit more difficult because you're expected, of course, to do everything yourself. But I mean, that's nothing new for me with the military experience. But being taught a lot of stuff was actually pretty interesting for me because whenever we do our qualifications on the boat, you might have somebody that teaches it to you if they're inclined. But for the most part, you're expected to read the manuals and learn it yourself.
Interesting.
But the training days are actually pretty good because you actually have somebody sitting there with a PowerPoint presentation, going over everything for you. So it's like now, okay, I didn't think to maybe look this up earlier. I should probably go back and study this, you know, because it's kind of hard to know what questions to ask when you're the teacher.
That's very true. Um,